Hi, hello everyone. My name is Margo, and today we are going to explore the main features of Procreate, or everything that you need to know as a beginner, or everything that I wished I knew when I started to use this app. The first thing that you see when you open the app is your gallery. Here, all your works will be stocked. Later, I will tell you how you can reorganize it to make it more comfortable for you. To start new art, simply click on the plus here. Here you can use the different sizes that are suggested by Procreate, or you can create a new one. Basically, the main thing that you should remember is the higher the resolution of your canvas, the less layers you're going to get. I suggest you to start with screen size canvas if you're just a beginner. Later you will understand what size is more comfortable. There are a lot of different brushes that you can use. I suggest to try them all first before downloading someone else's brushes. Just it's important to understand how they work, what you like, what you don't really enjoy using. I think the first one that I used when was using sketches, it was this one or that. Here you can change the color of your brush. This one is basically the classic one that I use the most. There is also disc, harmony, or let me choose another color wheel. The harmony, why it's quite handy is that you can choose different modes here. It will choose not just the main color of your drawing as well as complementary one. I think this is really handy if you're trying to use a color wheel for your coloring. There is all your value and palette. You can create a new one as well, clicking on the plus. And to add a new color to your palette, simply drag this one and simply click here. So it will be added. This one is really a mess. I need to fix a lot of it. I need to reorganize it. But yeah, it's quite handy if you, for example, use some colors quite often. Recently, I've been drawing Jimin for quite some time, and I just decided to add some skin colors that I used the most. As it was just easier for me to save them. Back to the brushes. Example, as the sketch, you can use 6B. It depends on the size that you use of the brush. You can change it here, see, and as well as the capacity of your brush. And of course, it also depends how much power you use on the screen. So for example, even if I use 9% of the size, and I will hold my pen in this angle and put just a bit of pressure on the screen, barely will be visible. If I start to pressure more, so it basically works just like a usual pencil, which is really handy. That's why I suggest to use the brush that is similar to pencil. It's just something that you're probably is used to the most if you start with traditional art at first. Just play around with it. Don't be afraid to try this. Just really take your time to explore the brushes, because when I just started to use Procreate, I was so excited to use it that I was just sticking to one particular brush and just was using some of them. I think for coloring, I use some of these brushes, and for shading, I used airbrush. I still actually use airbrush. It's quite a handy one. But really take your time to explore different kind of brushes, because it will help you later to realize what you enjoy the most and what is actually suitable for your particular art style. As you could see me choosing the color, you can click on this one and it will choose the color, or you can use the finger and drag just around and will also pick the color that you chose. Cancel something that you did, you can click here, or you can go back using this one. You can also use the gestures that you can actually edit in your settings, but 2 fingers is also undone and 3 fingers it go back to the previous result. I also suggest you to use other features that I'm going to show you in a particular drawing. So for example, it's quite common for artists to suggest to flip horizontally your drawing while you're drawing, especially while you're sketching. It's very crucial because when you draw, you don't really, at some point, you just can skip some mistake and wouldn't really understand why it looks wrong, but you can't understand why it looks wrong. Basically, this might help you. You can use reference and upload a photo from your gallery, and it will just be here, and you can just look at the reference and draw it from here. To add text, just click add and insert a add text. It's just as simple as it is. Speaking about layers, this is quite a long topic to tell you, but I will be quick just for you to understand the main features of it. So I like to use my layers for all colors and for all things that I do basically in the art. So for example, there is a layer of a base color here. I will turn this off so we will understand what I mean. So this is the main layer, the base color. Then I added shading and also highlight. The highlight is not very noticeable as it's a white color. But basically, it is quite handy to do it in another layer. So you can simply use your eraser, which actually you can also adjust the brush of the eraser as well, which is really cool. You can just fix your shading without touching the main color, the base color of your drawing. Here is not the best example because I just used the layer. I actually was drawing it in the airport when I had a layover for 18 hours, so my brain didn't really function very well. But what you actually should do is add layer on top of the base color, and you can use two variants. Basically, the best one I'd say is a clipping mask, which allows you to draw just on top of the layer that is below this one. So basically, when you draw, it will draw only on the layer below, on the white one here. It helps to not to go to out of frame, you know, of the painting. And if you, for example, you want just you don't like it to be here, you can just delete it, and the base color will still remain the same. Or you can choose another variant that I use quite a lot. I would usually duplicate the layer, but you can use on the main one, but I suggest not to, just because what if you do mistake and you want to come back to the base color. But I would just do alpha lock and just do the same thing. It's basically the same thing. However, do keep in mind that once you use the eraser, it will erase everything, basically all this layer, rather than just the shading. So I do recommend to use the clipping mask. You can of course turn on back the base color, but just so much layers on top of one another, and no, there is no really point, especially if you have a limited amount of layers that you can use. Let's turn them back. Basically, as you can see, you can turn some off and on. I'd suggest you to name the layers, but I sometimes, and quite often to be honest, don't do it just because I'm too much involved in the process. You can also drag around the layers, so you would understand the whole point of it here. For example, if I draw something here, wait, here, on top of these layers, so it will be on top of the layer. However, it's not going to the line art. It's because it's below the line art. The line art is here, or even here, I think. The capacity is not strong, but you can see that it's coloring. So it depends where you're going to put your layer, how much it's going to cover, as you can see. If you need to draw a straight line, you can first of all use drawing grid, use this thing and hold a finger and adjust it as you want. If you need a circle, do the same thing, just hold it, and here you can choose the different variants that I suggest you. Circle, and it's really handy. The same with the square and other stuff. Here are also kind of different adjustments that you can use. Just play with it around, don't be afraid to click on everything and just understand what suits you. This one is the handiest one. I will show you it on the background. I use it all the time, just to understand what color would suit the most. So you basically change the color, the hue of the color, the saturation as well. You just play around with it, and it's much more comfortable rather than drag this color and just constantly checking how it will be, you know. To export your photo, you click here and click share. You can also export it from your gallery actually, just to push select, use the one that you need, and you can duplicate. It basically will duplicate the whole process. You can click share or you can delete it. How to stock the paintings, you click on this art and just drag it to the one that you want it to be stocked with and let it go, and here it is, it's a folder now. You can rename your folder, you can rename your drawings as well, just clicking on this corner. I do like to make my gallery clean, although I would say it gets messy after some time for sure. So yeah, it's just something that I prefer to do. So for example, with trimming, I definitely need to figure out which one I don't need anymore and which one I still want to keep. There are different things that I duplicated when I was working on it. If you watched the video, I told you before that this drawing I didn't really use at first, the sketch of it, and I thought that I'm going to use just 2 sketches of trimming. Here's how my layers look like. It's all very messy. See how many of the adjustments I did. So it's just a whole process, but it should be fun. That's all what I want to share with you guys. I think that's basically the most important features that you need to know starting with Procreate. I do recommend you to take your time and explore all features before starting your art. So just play around with brushes. Don't forget, it's really important to experiment in your drawings. The creativity is always about freedom and experiment, so don't forget about it, please. And I hope you found this video useful. I hope you will use some tips of mine, and I'll speak to you very soon. Stay strong and let the light fill your heart. Bye bye.